The squad we saw play from MIBR looked very different to the team we got regionally. So hopefully we're in for a real treat.
Yeah, Aspis and Verno were definitely the highlights of that matchup as well. I'm curious to see how they're going to perform now here today. On the other side, though, for Fnatic, Boaster had an absolute life game. We know the Chronicle's a consistent factor for this squad, but Boaster hitting that form twice in a row, looking unlikely, I'd say. Who knows, though?
I've seen his operator come out on this map and be fairly fierce. At least for now, though. Start from the defense was a little bit of early B control. However, MIBR seeming passive. Still an opportunity for an immediate rotate from Artsin. But he's going to try and put some pressure in to hold players to this side of the map.
We talked about that utility over on the desk, and we're saying Fnatic have so much util to go and take those fights. They haven't gone and taken those fights just yet, but what we are seeing, the push up coming through from Chronicle. He's fully cleared Bathroom and Exodus of the A site now as Fnatic stack up on B, ready for the hit that MIBR are about to go for.
This is not what MIBR would want to be looking for. They saw a player teleport to the other side of the map, maybe assumed that this would be a little bit more open. That's not the case, though. They're walking into a full stack. Not a bad start, though. Cortezia is going to get the opener.
Yeah, they've come in, drawn first blood. Now the pressure mounting for Fnatic. The remaining players on the site, though, still have plenty of backup. It's a messy fight for Kayak, and he goes down with the punish right after Crash. He's managing one, and Alpha still flying under the radar, but he used his util earlier. They'll know that he's here. Finding the players a different story, but MIBR making a good job of it. But then Chronicle's flying comes through. A pain in the side as MIBR find only one left, and Alpha's there to clean it up. Fnatic, they made the read early. The push-up from Kron gave them the info, and the stack proved too strong to crumble.
Yeah, honestly, from the position that they walked into, it didn't go too badly for MIBR. Like, I thought they were going to get slaughtered on entry. Like, you walk into a stack of 4 players with one flanking you, but it was that flank that sort of dealt the final blow. Boaster already about
the
pistol round.
My son, my young boy.
Nice!
Good job,
Already.
Ronnie. Great
We
job.
are going to have ourselves a little bit of pause to...
Interesting as well, Boaster was on his feet in that pistol. The only one not to secure a kill. You gotta have the confidence even when it ain't going your way. Love to see it.
It's like trash talking only when you win. It's not really trash talking,
No,
is
you
it?
gotta be consistent with it. And he certainly is. Well, as you said, MIBR, they come in with next to nothing. Up against a lot of SMGs. It's a buy that gives Fnatic a fair bit of a punch in this round. And with the map that's in it, good potential for the next as well. There's the first for Chronicle. He's under a lot of pressure, though. Getting hit by that seize, and with the reload underway for Crashies, he couldn't quite help out. From here, well, I was going to say it'll be difficult to find more impact for MIBR with numbers for Fnatic. You can see Kayak's here to back up his buddy, but Crashies has been hit pretty low. There's still a chance for this to become a costly round if Fnatic aren't careful, and that's why you see this quite timid approach to denying the plant.
MIBR actually playing this well. They're trying to bait in any of that additional utility. Try and maybe force someone to make a mistake, reveal a position.
TP option.
They could, yeah, back out of this if they wanted to. There is now nobody on the other side of the map, although both salvos are online to potentially try and deny a more valuable plant spot, but
30 seconds
instead,
left.
just selling a ruse that maybe they've left. Try and get some players to peak more aggressively. But Fnatic are being patient themselves.
Yeah, even just creating that gap, though, it's worked out so far for MIBR, being able to get boots on the ground to back site, but with 14 seconds left and Fnatic finding another, this is looking increasingly unlikely, but there we go. The different plant position ends up dodging the salvos. Verno finds Boaster. Remember, Crashies is still very, very low, and he'll fall at Verno's hands. This is already a great round for MIBR, and a chance to build even further. The snake bite down doesn't quite catch Kayak on the edge of the spike, and, well, you can see the gamble is that he wouldn't stick it with that utility in play. A slight missed piece ends up costing them further damage, but still,
It's not bad.
3 kills from that position, I don't think they can be unhappy with that.
The 3 kills in a plant. It also means that going into this next round, you're unlikely to have any of the light shields from the few extra credits that you garnered. And the other thing as well is that normally you see those rounds where it's like, okay, the 2 players had a pistol, some had rifles. For Fnatic, that wasn't the case. It was a singular rifle, and then the rest were mostly SMGs. So they're still not going to have a particularly good bonus. But on a map like this, you are going to have opportunities, especially with a lot of these close range fights, these tight angles that can definitely work for those weaker guns.
Already making good use of the early aggression on Fnatic. Kayak covering that bit of space towards Bathroom, allowing Crashies to pick up the orb, now one away from the Nightfall. Quite a few weaknesses, the
Toxins going up.
fruit of their labor on MIBR in the previous round. It'll be a slow default, as this can't be one that they throw away. Fnatic are saving up that money for the next. They'll have a full buy, as you'd expect. But in a lot of rounds, you'll see like 2, 3, maybe even 4 rifles brought in by the team that's 2-0 up. With these weaknesses, has to be a round that the attacking side secure.
Well, yeah, the main thing will be gambling on positions. A gate crash taken. Cortezia already adding one, and a nice double opener in towards that A site. The spike, though, is heading in the other direction, and with Alfia being spotted, I can only assume that that TP must be considered. Walking back into where the rifle is would be risky, but now winning that fight makes all the difference. Verno putting Alfia in the dirt, and nearly all the danger of this round are dissipated. It is still Chronicle, it is still a Sheriff, but I think from this point onwards, maybe even just dying to the spike is the right call.
With 2 players towards the A site, I agree with you. You know, a lot of the time you'll see teams go for the TP before those 2 kills come in on B, but when it's Aspis and Verno who've walked all the way up and long and they know they have 1 rifle, second guy probably doesn't. They're pretty confident they'll take that fight every time. For Chronicle, okay, it's a rifle picked up. Chance for further damage, starting to build. Rotate from Verno, he's going to challenge him in the TP, but this is exactly what Chronicle's expecting. Sees has caught him, door open, and well, it's not going to be quite so simple a play, not running blindly into the TP instead.
I like
allowing the players outside to fight through the door. Lovely, 2-1 now. MIBR with a pretty decent round 3.
Yeah, it's about the minimum you want to be bringing through, the 3 rifles kept, so you're going to be able to come back in with a solid purchase. Operator already being put onto the board by Fnatic as well. Kayak going to try and fight those extremities, of course. When you look at this map, I'd say normally you're going to see some fairly hefty attack sides coming out of Fnatic, but last time they played it, it was also an 8-1 defense, so a map that they feel incredibly comfortable on. And for MIBR, last 2 times they played it, really struggled on that defense. Artsin, though, a sniper of his own and some light shields. In fact, on the majority, that's a huge opener. Response, though.
Ooh. Yeah, doubled up as well. You think once that op fires off that he'll back off. You'll get at least a little bit of space for the life you've traded out instead. Doubling down on the disadvantages with Crashies. Oh, that's a little greedy from Kron. You know, you want to see the jump peek there, grabbing a bit of info, and he goes swinging out wide. Ends up going down to 46. Look, there's still a serious chance, and as you said, the shield's in play. This is a double barrel operator. Chronicle's fallen now on the attempt to cross on backside. Crashy's almost losing his life to that outlaw. And it's Sheenom up top to drop him. The spike back under MIBR's control. They don't know it yet, but they're not even looking that way. Fighting for every inch of ground on this site. And the outlaw really stealing the day for that attacking side. I think Kayak's already called for the save, and
yeah,
with an op, it's no surprise.
30 seconds left.
Huge round coming out from Shannon. Just being able to find 2 fairly impactful kills, and you can see they're still a little bit wary.
They saw him get ult online, so they should know that he was towards B-Long not that long ago. So that piece of information should be in play. But obviously, with the gate crash, you never know. He could be close to site.
Could have gone back to spawn, could have rotated, but they should also know that the operator's online with him getting that opening pick, so it is just going to be the save. And for MIBR, of course, their economy's not in an awful spot, but it's not at a stage just yet where they want to be trying to hunt down every single one of these weapons, try and run down that operator and risk losing their own economy. Instead, they will just be TPing out of there at the last second, just wanting to make sure there's no cheeky plays being attempted by Kayak. And MIBR already are going to put themselves 2 on that board. As said, though, the expectation is they need to have a fairly solid attack side, especially with this comp.
Well, certainly a good start, winning that round number 4. Picking apart this defensive side. Every peak they went for, punished, and I do think the Outlaw playing such a big role, they can't even trade shots. Once that first bullet lands with light shields and some players stripped low, it
Afraid this might get rough.
was an easy conversion. Now MIBR, they come into this round and they know they're up against an AWP. They know that was carried through, but for the most part, it is very little danger. And what danger there is can be very easily avoided. All thanks to that Yoru ultimate being activated. Never mind. Artson has gone down. Chronicle finds one. That's a weapon retrieved for Crashies. With the Nightfall in effect, MIBR, I mean, they're not even back to starting positions. Obviously a man down, but look at where Aspas is.
That's the trouble. He also got hit by the ult, so it's not like this is a massive surprise. The worst thing that can happen to you in this sort of round is ending up being isolated, and I'm looking at the position of the spike. It's very far away from the rest of the troops. Just making a lurk play, maybe checking if there's any sort of flank, but it definitely feels like a bit of a gamble. Crashies as well, already managing to add another to the death toll, and Aspas, he's kind of stuck in the mud, but still manages to get two. A quick double to make this round look a lot more palatable.
Fnatic haven't yet shown their hand. 35 seconds, and the AWP is still on this A site. They know about Alfier. Soon they'll know about Kayak as well. That position spotted. Aspas thinking about the deep swing. It's all down to this shot, and it's Aspas to hit it! His third of the round! This man was isolated, caught by a Nightfall, but he became Fnatic's nightmare. The third round looking locked in already. Aspas will finally be put to bed, but it's too little too late, surely. A rifle retrieved for Alpha, but he's all alone. They know where he is. The time is ticking, and not in his favor. And with two players to root out, and no information on where they've gone, he has to choose blindly. Choosing wisely out of the question. And as you can see, as you can hear, time is ticking away. He is trying to bait them into a fight. They've seen he's not defusing, but he's isolated one as a result. Alpha playing this masterfully, but the clock, his biggest enemy, if not the shots from the other side. A 3-2 scoreline locked in.
That round was all Aspas in the end. The way it started off, Chronicle does well. A second pick, taking down Shenum as well. It made things so difficult. And you look at where that utility is put into place. It's basically just to disrupt everything Aspas is trying to do. But while walking backwards, he just manages to dome one of the players. We talk about this guy in terms of having that highest peak of skill, but at this round you can almost, you've already lost the game. But at the same time, if he's going to keep doing stuff like that, you may need to adapt.
Well, the barrier's going up on a bye round for Fnatic. Big ulti's online. Kayak's had that dimensional drift for a while, but he has a big challenge coming. Heavy traffic. About to swing right into him. In fact, not swinging. Walking up inside the wall, he spotted one, and he gets out for free. That's a beautiful opener for Fnatic. The response is Showstopper fired through. Aspas doesn't find his mark with it though. Won't even get Lambs for free. Still has to brawl Chronicle, who is forced back, seized in position. He can no longer hold on to control there. But Fnatic don't need to with the man advantage. That's quickly faded away though. MIBR, they're rolling all over this A site.
Grenade is live.
Yeah, Cortesia's just having one hell of a round. Again, this was Fnatic in the right place at the right time. They had a stack up. Look at where, look at the blue X's on the map around the A site. It wasn't like they were fighting alone. It was just that the duels being won by MIBR. The only one going the way of Fnatic is that opener that took down the Yoru, the player that's supposed to gather you up the space. Even the Showstopper did nothing. I'm all for Boaster. You question the potential of that flash in the pan performance. It's not been the same, and the timing couldn't be any worse. It was actually mentioned on the desk by Sue that sometimes he gets caught in utility. That was almost comedic timing, how bad that was.
What a round from Cortesia. He's been putting up numbers early on here. You know, the Showstopper, as well as you said, it didn't find anything. It got them space. But even then, they had to brawl for that space at a man disadvantage. Fnatic backed off. They respected it. They avoided the immediate response, but wow, it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, Cortesia off to a flyer, by the way. 8-2, playing on that Viper. Whew. Shannon, maybe not quite so lucky. That's an immediate pick for Alpha here. Bear in mind, the only rifle currently on the board, but Verno's reaction is almost immediate. That advantage hasn't lasted for long. Kayak realizing this fight was not one he wanted to take. Once again, MIBR patient. They know that those salvos are likely to be coming. This time, though, a little bit too late to disrupt that plant.
Leah was sent to the corner to push Aspis out in the open. A decision they might be regretting now as he finds one from his newfound spot. Looks for a bit more up in heaven. He's feeling greedy. No surprise, the weaponry advantage starkly in favor of that attacking side. Verno highlighting it with Chronicle all alone. He'll at least find one. Aspis is low,
Yeah,
although I don't think you're going to win the wallbang fight with that stinger. And he's been taken down by Verno. Verno and Aspis both firing through some terrain to take him out of the play. It's 5-2. MIBR lights out starting this map. Remember, Fnatic won the pistol, the follow-up, and nothing ever since.
Have you ever seen a kill through that wall? I feel like I've not seen it actually work.
With a node?
Like,
absolutely, but yeah,
like this is
it's
just
rare.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone try and spam. Obviously he knows he's there, but it's just the confidence that he currently has at the moment, and that trifecta at the top of the board. Verno, Cortezia, and Aspas. Not what you wanted to see if you're a Fnatic fan. Early Viper's Pit to lock down at B long control. But for the majority, it's been the A-site hits for MIBR.
I guess the real challenge for MIBR coming into this now, those ults from Fnatic have been saved up, as the credits have. It's going to be a very strong response. Alpha's got to move quick. He's caught by the C's, but has just enough space to sneak his way out. In the meantime, though, Crashy's through the teleporter and out of the round just as quickly. MIBR, they're playing this so well. Just pumping the brakes, finding their advantage, realizing that, of course, with one player TPing, the A-side has to be a bit weaker. But as they've taken their time, to rotate from Kayak, and with his gate crash, he can feel comfortable sticking around on A for a while. But it's come in. He's here with the op. He's holding the ward's bathroom, though. And that Viper Wall will stop him having any impact in shutting down the main body of this force.
Still, plenty of ultimates to play with. That operator in hand. A gap being searched for. But it's Cortezia again. Nice shot. Will at least find the trade, but that jump up from above needs to be watched for, and instead it's another wallbang for Verno. There's not really much the remaining two can do. Bear in mind, Chronicle is still within his pit on the other side of the map, and for Kayak, he's not going to try and retake this solo with an operator. Another round for MIBR, and I want to touch on the mention of the calling, because this is Verno, the 19-year-old American IGL and the Brazilian team that, as of right now, is calling a great game.
If I'm not mistaken as well, didn't they say that during the season he swapped to calling at the start of the round and not mid-rounding? Like, he's been finding his identity in terms of that IGLing, and even coming into this event, we didn't know how it would look, but he is back to full calling, start to finish. He is on Kayak, looking to hunt him down. He's found his prey, but Kayak bites back. The op will be saved, will be carried through, as will Chronicle's rifle. He's been quiet over in his pit on the B site, on B long.
He's chilling
this whole round. Another one up for MIBR. That's 6 in a row. And don't forget, we've already had a timeout called by Fnatic. You know, this is the point where we'd be saying, "Oh, we want to see a timeout."
They called
right
it
about now, but
3-2.
Yes, 3-2. And it's been 3 in a row. Since then, it's been advantages found by them and thrown away. Or in fact, I wouldn't even say that. Like, Cortezia has been stealing those advantages back at times. And no, like, if you want to have a chance in the second half, you can't really be calling that timeout here. You gotta trust the boys to find those solutions. Alpha already in the TP, and you may bet that MIBR, no, he ain't going anywhere.
I guess the assumption might be that that was Kayak. Baiting. But that's already as bad of a start. Goes 0-9 for Boaster, by the way. Yet to find his place onto the board. Alpha does strike, but he's running back straight into the arms of another enemy. Shannon waiting, and now here's the TP. Chronicle tries to respond. Will be able to force him out, but the reactive smoke gives cover. Oh no, I don't know what's happened there. Complete miscommunication, it seems. That's left him out to dry, and the spike in the hands of Chronicle. This is one of the better opportunities for Fnatic, but they are all isolated. And this walk back from Genom, I think, is going to meet the exact same fate.
One enemy
Recovery for Fnatic, it seems. As Artson left alone, op in hand, and he's found one. Over to the rifle. Both players isolated as well, playing opposite sides of this. And he certainly knows that Crashies was around that area. But now, of course, it pushed up the long. Oh, it's going to be a deep play from Artson. I like the idea, but Kayak was patiently waiting for it. Finally, a response from Fnatic, breaking the 6-round streak MIBR put on the board.
Yeah, I kind of look at this one, though, as quite a bit of miscommunication. Like, Verno having his back turned. I think it was the same when Genom died as well. Back turned. The last kill, back turned. Like, this was all players that... Okay, this one, there's no way he could have had the information, but it seems like they lost control of the map. And, of course, Fnatic, you need to give credit as well to Crashies for taking that amount of space in the late round as well, but... It's not what we've seen thus far from MIBR, of course. No problems for them coming back up with a buy still. Having the Viper's Pit, but that has been online for a little while. And once again, Crashies going for the same push-up.
Braun does well. Artson pushing a little before the wall, fully blooms. He will be punished. MIBR, these... Oh, nice spam. These defaults have found them a lot of value in the early round. But in the last, they were spread too thin. It could be the same here. Crashies walking up, and he will get the jump on Cortesia with Verno down as well. This round seems to have no contest from MIBR, bar the little bit of damage done. And now look at the position of Chronicle. He stepped foot on the spike, and even manages to secure a little bit of space. His teammates rushing to his side. There'll be no further fight from him until the numbers are by his side.
Crashies will have a 1v1, but he's won it. That leaves Genom alone. Other side of the map, and that will be Boaster being able to close that one out. A flawless round from Fnatic, and it seems like the success they're finding is off that little bit of aggression. MIBR, when it comes to these early fights together, having these rotations back could look very good, but these last couple of rounds have been a little bit more in terms of the solo fights, and I was just about to say, I wonder if we're about to see a pause out from MIBR. We are.
Yeah, I think just getting a little bit too sloppy there in the early round, offering up picks, going...
May just be in the bag with how low the credits are getting for MIBR.
Well, barriers going up, and a big round for Fnatic. Full royalties to play with. Haven't got that Viper's Pit back online, but we also haven't gotten to see the ult popped by Alpha here. We've already seen the impact that those salvos can have if well placed, and you might see what happens when it's combined a little bit later on. So Alpha seems set to be alive for a retake if Fnatic need it. MIBR sending every single player towards this A side, already expending some utility in that direction, hoping that they get some aggression. This was Artson sent out to catch that bathroom push, but a very patient display from the defense.
Yeah, I guess expecting a change and thus delivering one of their own. But also, again, look how many ultimates are available for Fnatic. They can take that little bit of an extra risk, and it won't cause them too many issues, though. Saying that, Chronicle has taken a fairly severe amount of damage. Rotation coming in from Alpha yet. That Armageddon has been online for a long, long time. And the counter already being thrown in to try and deny that showstopper, but it will not be denied. The response, though, from Crashies is huge.
Another for Crashies! He'll find 4 before falling! And Artson attempts to drift to another dimension, but he is sent straight there. A one-way ticket to round 12 as 6-5 is locked in. The climb back from Fnatic impressive, not just in this map so far, but in this round. Crashies dug so deep for that play, and they had lost a lot of control. Kayak being baited out by the decoy. It was a free kill for Artson towards the bathroom, removing that operator that has been such an annoyance when it comes to pushing that A site. It seems like MIBR did all the difficult work, and then they found an unexpected roadblock.
Yeah, he had to react quickly. It was his ult that left a lot of them low. And from a fairly commanding position, MIBR are starting to slip.
Yeah.
They've still got stuff to play with in this round, though. That Viper's Pit has been online a ridiculously long time, and with the Dimensional Drift available, it's going to be Artsin trying to take the space, and he's successful. An opener, a second going their way, and this time Crashies is not close enough to respond. They are, however, going to try and utilize that Teo ultimate, but to no avail. It's only delay.
Yeah, it buys them time, but there's a minute on the clock. For the Viper's Pit down as well, that retake's just becomes so much more difficult. With Alpha going down, they've lost elbow control. The flank from Crashies is still so far away. When Chronicle stepping to spawn, I mean, they're still going to be wary of that position. Even letting the decoy go past, but you can see Artsin has one job here. Stay close to that pit's edge with a shorty in hand, and when it falls, he goes swinging in alongside Verno. Beautiful work from MIBR to lock in 7-5.
Yeah, they made that response. I like the immediate aggression out from Artsin, using his ultimate for space. They had a set play based around that Viper's Pit, and it worked out wonderfully for them and for Fnatic with the amount of death toll that they had already taken. It was just too difficult to get back into the round. Still, a pretty solid recovery for them. Nonetheless, we've got a very and if they can get into those post plants, that is always where Fnatic have been fantastic. The good thing though for MIBR, this double duelist, you're going to try and disrupt that. You're going to try and get ahead of any of those executions, and we'll see if they can make that work on their defense.
All this pistol round could bridge the gap for Fnatic or send MIBR way into the lead. A slow start from Fnatic. Who could have guessed? Their attack side, for those of you that don't know, have you ever watched VALORANT before? But they really like to play this slow, methodical. For MIBR, I think that's going to be one of the challenges in this series. But I think it also comes with an element of readability. Difficult at times, perhaps, to sit in their positions and put together the pieces of what Fnatic are trying to do, but already we're seeing some utility put out on B. The info goes back in MIBR's favor that no one's actually there, no one's taken long control. They might start to get itchy feet on this B stack.
But that's the thing, it was those 4 players set up initially, although the one on the other side is Aspaz, so if anything you kind of feel like it's a balanced setup. But his job is basically to just try and pick some people off and then maybe use those paint shells to deny. It's all a ruse, though. It's a fake back in the other direction. The push-up's already come in. MIBR are in a fantastic spot to try and deny this space being taken. They've had to double back because of how far the Chronicle managed to get into that A site. He made the realization, but now that spike has been dropped on the deck. This is looking fantastic for MIBR. 15 seconds. There needs to be a huge play, and in fact, the plant probably not even going to go down. Artsim from behind has already shut this down. Chronicle, 1v5, no chance, a flawless pistol for MIBR.
The lead extends in MIBR's favor. They lost the opening pistol, still ended up going out of that half with a 2-round advantage, but here the proactive early aggression. But it's not even that early. It's not like they started the round. Oh, let's push down on
like
short.
30 seconds.
Yeah. They're waiting. They're running that clock down and realizing, okay, Fnatic should be going for a hit soon. They should be looking for space. Let's see what we can find. And this is what I'm saying. Like, it's very difficult to play against Fnatic the first time. But if you know how they play, you know that you have to search for those gaps. And MIBR have already cracked the code there in the pistol. See if they can continue to do so. This one should be an easy follow-up. Big investment from the defensive side. They've already lost one player with only one pistol carried through. Anything else for Fnatic is a bonus. And there's Shenum gone as well.
Yeah, they also have to somewhat wait for that other player to get back in to even retrieve one of those guns. Timing should make it fairly easy.
Phantom's up top.
There's also a Guardian to be found. Are they not going to get anything? No, they at least managed to get the one. Did they get the Guardian as well? I don't think they did. No, they didn't. So that's at least one gun drop. Not the worst, but obviously on the other side of things for MIBR, they're still going to come in with a few to play with. They've had some of those individual moments of brilliance, and
Time to jump.
if they get one in this round, if anything, they're on the path to taking their opponent's map choice.
Abyss up next. See how that plays out. Boaster's having a tough run of it, and he was a big factor in them finding success in their previous series up against RRQ. He still has just that one kill he closed out the last half with.
Yeah, I like what we just saw from MIBR. So that was the haunt over the top into the smoke with the flash behind it. They were hoping to try and put Aspas into a position to find an Opera on those players who are waiting around Fountain, but nobody there. It is Fnatic playing in such that passive style that it starves the opponents of information, but we've already seen that MIBR have done quite well in the first couple of rounds to react to that. And with Artsin only having a pistol, he's happy to play up close.
The lack of over-rotations as well. A lot of teams will make that push-up, see nobody, and just go flying towards the A side, assuming that the hit's elsewhere. But used to the slow approach, ready for it at least. Artsin, is he going to go through this wall? He's only got the Ghost to play with. One of the two weaknesses for MIBR. Uses the decoy to push them back, and it's a lot of stoppage from MIBR, keeping Fnatic down to 20 seconds before they've got boots on the ground. Aspas falls with the wall bang. Verno doing a ton of damage. Oh! He'll take down Kayak, and he leaves Boaster, Alpha, and Crash. He's all very low. The volley just misses. The plant will be secured still. A huge opportunity with Alpha regenning his health and dropping Verno. They could clean up the rest of the kills on the site. In fact, Alpha even gets challenged deep, and it ends up in a 1 versus 1. Cortesia alone. And no idea where Alpha's gotten to, thinking maybe that he's fallen back, but Alpha's close on the site, in that corner, just to his left, crouched down. The read is there, and so is the round for MIBR. A seeming death sentence for Fnatic. As double digits secured by America's number 4.
Yeah, what a round. Cortesia again, just having these moments of brilliance, but I want to give the credit. I just want to say to the core, like, look how delayed or how much they're holding their utility. That Haunt came online ages ago. But Verno knows, okay, if they're going to play slow, I'm going to keep this to the end. Still had a Prowler, still had a Molly. Even still had the clone to throw out. They're literally holding everything until the last 35 seconds, and it just allows them to buy so much time. And then you add in that little bit of individual brilliance once again from Cortesia. And that now puts them 5 rounds into the lead.
Trades to start this one, but that's a big weapon for Fnatic. You saw the Guardian in hand for Alphayer, but look at the rest of the pieces. 2 Stingers and 2 Sheriffs, at least site control for Fnatic, but the spike is miles behind. It's being caught by the Prowler. Boaster's got to run for the hills, and he's trapped in the corner. Verno won't let him escape. The spike secured now. The defensive side can't get there too easily. Crashy is embedded in the sights, being spotted. Shenum dealing with a major threat in this round, and you look at it, Fnatic, they're going to go back. They have to go back. So much presence for MIBR, the utility and the spams. It's given the presence away, but I like the fact that my main worry was that Cortesia was a little aggressive on B. Now he's backed off, he's given that space. There seems to be nowhere that Fnatic can go with favor.
Yeah, they tried to fake the steps. No steps were faked. I don't know how Chronicle survived there. I don't know how he's alive at this stage of the round, I'll be honest with you, but I don't think there's any chance of him winning it from here. Even a cheeky little blast back jump from Aspas. 11-5. Fnatic's map choice. A team that I think many coming into this matchup will go, oh, okay, they beat BLG. China's number 1, but I think a lot of people have sort of slept on that as a result because China as a region has been suffering this event. But they are proving that that was not just a singular performance. And what you mentioned about that second pause and wanting to save it, I'll be honest with you, Mitch, I feel like it's a little late.
11-5? Yeah.
The season struggled massively within Americas. They are looking completely different the second they've made it to Paris. Bear in mind, this is a spot in the playoffs. A lot of people didn't even expect MIBR to be here, let alone potentially a map away from playoffs.
They came here early to Europe, got a week of boot camp in. I don't know what they did at that boot camp, but it seems to have completely changed the look of this team. On the defense, we were worried.
Yeah.
You know, did they have enough rounds? 7-5, even with a pistol. But arguably, this half has looked stronger for them so far than what we saw in the previous. And for Fnatic, they are running out of time. The pause called. This is the moment to put the pieces together. But so far, MIBR are the ones with the greater vision.
See, now, from watching your gameplay, I've seen an Odin plenty on this map, but I don't know if I've seen much of it over on the B side. Is he going to swing? He's swinging with an Odin. Okay. That's not what I expected, but I guess his teammates managed to get the trade. The Odin has been sacrificed in order to clear Kayak.
I actually do like, well, I don't like him shift peeking it like that, but you're assuming that no one's pushed up because so far Fnatic have been extremely slow in taking B long control, and when they have, there's utility to follow it. So the assumption here is that that orb's going to go up and they'll start walking and you can spam through it.
There's still the nade, there's still both flashes, there's still a molly. Like, none of the utility has been baited out just yet from the side of Fnatic. They are running into the blender. Cortezia up close. Has already managed to drop Chronicle. They have 10 seconds. They have to go through a molly. They're not baiting out any of the utility. 6 seconds. And if someone swings this, it's all but over. The round is gone. Fnatic are just capitulating. They are making this far too easy for MIBR, as they have every single piece they could desire all the way to the last 15 seconds.
Just a top-down approach from MIBR, losing the opening pick, trade quick at least. Still makes it difficult for the defense often if you don't have the numbers, but that utility buff
10 seconds
making
left.
one hell of a difference. It takes Alpha out of the play. It leaves that planter with only one player to cover, and an easy swing closes it. 1 round needed, 7 chances to close out Fnatic's map pick. And for MIBR, you can write off that first match. You probably can't, but a lot of people will anyways. But they do it twice, and there's no talk of a fluke anymore. This team has leveled up in the downtime. Their reward now seemingly seconds away. Showstopper on the Boaster, from bad to worse for Fnatic's IGL. And a 5 versus 4 the Fnatic are facing into.
A minute left, which means we probably won't see the move for another 50 seconds. Smoke down to delay. Nade still available, C still available, Snake Bite still available, Orbital Strike, Molotov. Like, there's so much to slow Fnatic down. Orbital Strike even just going to be sent out a little early. They know what they've got available, and 3 players on this site. Nightfall used to clear, Molotov to make things awkward. But still they survive at the back of the site, and the smoke is going to slow them once again.
Artson's behind them. This TP taken. It's going to at least send most of the squad out of the way, but Chronicles caught on the rotate. Another man down. Aspas, such an unusual position. He's caught with nade in hand. Fnatic will at least get a plant now because of that pick. A chance for them as Alfiier's caught up close. They're being so patient in clearing these angles. That spam looking deadly. Cortezia again delivering when he's needed. Alpha popped the ultimate, but I mean, he needs time here. It's not ticking quite quick enough, and 2 players to find. Caught looking the wrong way. Artson to seal the deal. MIBR 13-5. It's decimate is possible. It could be their future. Hell, based on first map, it may be their fate, Tom. But Fnatic, we know this is a team you cannot count out until the last round is struck.
Well, they could send the China #1 and the team that finished second at the previous international event into the lower bracket. A great start already. Alfio was meant to be the anchor of the site. Instead, Aspas has eliminated him immediately and already looks to carry forward.
Oh, nice stuff from Cortezia as well. Seems like such a safe pair of hands. He's lurking out on mid, picking them off 1 by 1 till Crashies is the last man standing. A 1 versus 5, and Ace needed his first already chalked up, but Aspas takes him out clean. 1-0 start for MIBR. Pistol under their belt, and a big talking point here for Fnatic is going to be finding their rhythm again, getting back on the horse early. Well, that's denied right out the gate on Abyss.
A lot of what we've talked about with this map coming back into the pool is sort of like the variation that we see. I feel like going back to when it first came out. This was one of the comps that was initially run, like basically just stealing the exact aspects of Ascent and then throwing the Astra in for a little bit more global utility. But for MIBR being on that attack side, they're quite happy to just contact into things. And when you have a tip of the spear like Aspas, it becomes so difficult to play against. Now, Fnatic in this round have already got very aggressive, but Cortesia is hearing all of those steps. The first should be free and will be, and now the rest of his team have just gone into A with relative ease.
Got full control for MIBR. Not playing on site, instead moving back towards main with 2 to cover off that flank. Cortesia, be careful as he goes back towards the spawn, but he's only got the Ghost. And why not farm up another one of those orbs? A 4-in-1 start for him, and remember, back to the previous map, he was lights out as well, especially in those first 5 or 6 rounds. With a flawless in number 2, there seems to be no stopping MIBR.
Getting off to a solid start. Of course, this is now their map choice, but we haven't seen them play it since the beginning of the year. They were 3-1 in 2025 when the map was in the pool, but their last match was a defeat to Sentinels. For Fnatic, we've obviously seen it once already this tournament, and the attack side was where they really showed their best. I'll be honest, they don't look like the same team so far today. MIBR have seemingly had their number, and they come into this round, Mitch, with a buy that, I dare say, it's equally as strong as their opponents.
Yeah, with credits to spare, right? This is what we were talking about in the previous map, that you'll see this so often. And I think on a map like this, it's even more relevant with so much space. You need those weapons to challenge on range. MIBR picking up the pace. Already moving towards the A site, and they have pushed Fnatic well and truly off of the site. The plant being secured. Just a moment, there it is.
Okay.
They needed an advantage and they found it.
Yeah, Althea not wanting to overface. He was within the site initially, but has fallen back for the retake. A very passive position from Shenum. All the way back towards the spawn, just setting up utility. Cortesia, however, a much more aggressive angle. He's looking to play contact. The slow thrown through is Sublime, though. Gives that early trade back. A one-man advantage, but look at where the remaining 2 are. They are sat all the way back. They've got so many angles left to clear, and the spams might just be enough. A solid start already. As Chronicle goes down, Grabwell available. There it is, pulling them out of position. They need to push. They need to fight these players, because that spike is already ticking all the way. Somebody needs to be on it. And now the spam going through. I don't even know if there's enough time anyway. It won't matter. MIBR, they sacrifice themselves, but in a bonus round, who gives a damn?
Yeah, when they've got credits to burn, hell, a 3-0 start, you'd trade every dime for that. Especially when it starts out with Fnatic playing so passive, but finding their pick, trading out every opening engagement, and running back into a 3 versus 2. But they don't find either of those players in main.
Let's go, Bruno. Come on.
This is looking like a complete diff on one side, and Fnatic have got to be feeling locked out. 5 rounds in that first map, none here, and they're left to pistols. A likely 4-0 start for the attacking side.
Yeah.
And this is MIBR's map pick. Do not expect them to let their foot off the gas.
No, I love that post plant as well. Like, you have the close contact, so that even once Fnatic have cleared those players aggressively, you have everywhere else to clear on the site. You have to go through everything. You maybe expect even there to be supportive players, but then you have the 2 that have the util to do the damage in the end, sat back in main. That 1-2 punch causing the knockout of the first buy round. Now this position is cheeky. No escape for Kayak. It feels like a one and done unless there's a serious mistake. And while he had an opportunity, surprisingly, I think he actually did 0 damage there, which I don't know how.
Those are some thick walls. As you can see across the map is the case. Good damage by Fnatic to start with, but that spark is going out. Alpha's the last one standing. The rifle he retrieved from middle. Now brought all the way back to this B site. Aspas being cleared up top, but he's too quick. 4-0 for MIBR. Fnatic still on the starting block.
Yeah, it's opportunities, but the recovery was good. I genuinely think that Verno might have entered the Matrix there, because he was getting ready to put a drone out, and then managed to just dance his way out of every single one of those shots.
Let's go!
4-0 start. Waiting to see Fnatic make a response. High expectations, of course, at Toronto Grand Final. It's not like the regional performance was not off the back of a huge run at the previous international. They had the extra prep time, but so did MIBR.
We said that boot camp working wonders. Fnatic talked about, it was Milan on the stage. MIBR just kept walking up on them. So Fnatic are going to try the same. It's a big risk in this buy round, and MIBR is so patient. They seem ready for this play. The reveal not matching Cortesia, but he'll be pushed back, stunned up and gunned up. Kayak does well. The bow pulled for damage, but Crashies and Boasters still drawing breath. This is a huge early advantage from Fnatic, but that didn't stop them from losing rounds on Bind. Sue said it, 2 out of 8 where they found the opening picks. This has to be different now.
Yeah, otherwise we could be seeing a very quick series. That's not the expectation. Bomb will go through, but slightly repositioned. The kill trip spotted at the last second, but it gives away the position of Artsin. He's going to force the fight, but Alfia will win it. A 2v5. The only thing that genuinely terrifies me here is that Odin just sat in the backline with the opportunity to spam. If Verno can dodge those shots, there's a chance. Already finds the first. Aftershock goes through a second for Verno. He's looking to do it all with the Odin. Only 2 remain. Verno's still on the corner, finally shut down, and Chronicle could put an end to the absolute madness that Verno was trying to deliver.
It's the same 2 players in main, Tom.
You were about to betray him, yeah. You wanted him to win that, didn't you?
I really did. That third spray, I was all in on Verno there, man.
I could see it in your eyes. You're like, oh.
Odin stonks going up. But no, it's the same 2 players. It was a 2v3 last time. Now a 2v4. The difference being Chronicles here this time, locking it down. Those players trapped in the corner. They can't get out.
Just swinging them dry.
And that was a problem over on Bind as well. Fnatic giving a lot of individual fights, not playing together. And we saw those same glimmers shining through here. That's info! Sticking around a bit too long. Kayak almost goes down, but it's the Hunter's Fury on the back of it. These players trapped in a narrow alley, but they will just about make it out with all 5 players intact, and a deep push from Cortesia is spotted.
Yeah, he wasn't just sitting there while the rest of the players were under attack, but he has been dealt with. And Alpha, yeah, well, he's gone completely unchecked. Not expecting the aggression to be through and on the Odin spam. Oh, it's eventually starting to find attack, but Alpha on the other side has managed a double of his own. It leaves just 2 standing again, and with the spike down, they have to battle to retrieve at the flank. Already coming in, but Crashy's not overstepping the mark. He's just going to hold, just going to block them in. Well, Aspas with an Odin, yeah, I was about to say, it's not something I ever expected or wanted to see.
Yeah, you've got a 2v2 on either side. Unlike the fact that Fnatic are showing this patience, I think this was missing when it came to the previous. Shannon alone now for 30 seconds. He has almost no chance. Do his best to isolate these fights, but that's the end of this round. Nice. Great stun thrown through from Kayak. Good PC utility. Locks in a second for Fnatic to climb back. Well and truly underway. There's still plenty of time for this to spiral back into MIBR's favor.
This was a much better looking round for the side of Fnatic. He had the set play initially that, although didn't necessarily go exactly as planned, the other players on the team were still making a move. Like Alfia taking so much control over on the A side.
Let's go, boys.
And more importantly for me, it's Crashy's control. Like, not only in that flank at the end, but more importantly, making sure they didn't lose complete control of middle, because that was a huge gap that could have been exploited.
That might be our ults online. I'm looking at Artsin in particular. This opens up the play towards the A site. You can get rid of those trips, and that's exactly what MIBR are going for. The blitz into heaven, and it's Boaster under pressure. He'll deliver them. He finds himself one, backs off. The problem is the player he dropped can be brought right back into the fight. Those trips have been destroyed towards the site itself. So a plant should be found for free. 5 versus 4 with damage done to Boaster.
It's delayed a little. The fact is, though, MIBR's post plant so far has been fearsome. I'm already looking back at Verno, finding out that there's 3 players in that defender position. The close crossfire into mid as well. There's the dash through and the information, but Artson just ignores him. That one was free, and he goes for a little more. A 3-for-1 combo deal with Chronicle nowhere near the action. He revealed them initially, and then he puts them in the grave.
Very well played. Target selection as well. Kayak going in there. A lot of players will swing wide, looking to take down that close player, but you got to be ready for the waylay. We know how this plays. Go in, find info, get out. Fortunately, by the time that refract was finished, he had no teammates to push with. Really well handled. Look at this, doesn't even look at the reveal to start with. Full confidence in that swing.
Let's go!
Woo!
It's just really good target selection. I feel like it's a very underrated skill of just, sure, you might be able to hit the headshot, but are you picking the player that's the biggest threat? And I think that's what Artson did perfectly in that moment. A couple of rounds on the board for Fnatic. That might have been enough in their last series, but it's a very different looking opposition against them. And they're getting aggressive once again.
Kayak has refract online. He can't stick around too long, and the Cloudburst buy just enough time for Aspis that he doesn't have to take that fight. That he can avoid the reveal that was thrown through as well. It's very nicely played. Good reaction from the attacking side. And again, this default that they're playing, they have taken a lot of space towards the B site. You look at Artson, and a lot of teams will already be looking to capitalize on that space. But the spike has been left for 30 seconds or so as they wait for a reaction. Fnatic realizing we've lost B, where do we push? Where do we try to take that space back? And in fact, they're comfortable just completely conceding it.
Yeah, well, they're jump spotting, but do they realize how far Artson has got? I'm not sure they do. It's a check. This will be the big fight of the round, and while Boaster's already managed to win it, even still, the site has been completely cleared by Artson, so he got them the information. I'm looking at that convergence path, though. Immediately thrown through, but 3 players have dodged it. Boaster's already...
That's a massive connection. The trench is dug now for MIBR. Through. Can rain down from Fnatic as they look to close in the space. They're being picked apart. The Cosmic Divide, it may have saved Boaster. In fact, it only bought him time. Aspis there for the double. And with Alpha all alone, the save can be called into play, but he's going for it. He's being baited out and eventually dealt with. MIBR looking clean as Fnatic stutter on their way through. It's a 6-2 score.
Hey, Verno, this is the champion stage, not your rank games. Like, bro's just dipping in and out. And the Cosmic Divide just full troll at the end.
He's still there? He's still there?
Look at me.
He's still there?
Oh, this is just funny. But yeah, again, you see those advantages picked up.
Nice! Let's go!
But in those post plants, MIBR have been devastating. Their synergy, like we mentioned this team as like a lot of youngsters, a lot of...
And it's not likely to be too. They start to think MIBR may be a contender for the crown. A team that recently put up their first win on the global stage. And they've obviously got a taste for it now.
Oh, thank God.
He had the refract.
Yeah. I've seen Nats do it. That means anyone can do it. Gonna stick around. In a round like this, you understand. Kayak though again. He's been missing. I've seen Nats. It's that space taking on the retake. He just hasn't had those rounds we've known him for regionally. And on the other side of things, it's been a stellar performance across the board. A slow walk up again. Bear in mind, this is Artson with the spike.
He's going through that smoke as well. Crazy aggressive as he links up with Aspis on site. The take underway, but still players sticking around, especially with weaker weapons. They don't have to be as respectful of this, instead using those cages to get a little bit closer. And Boaster's managed to overwhelm Jenim. Aspis, players all around. He's adjusted just in time. But it has to be Verno, the man who we've seen make some of the biggest plays on this stage. Have some huge performances. I thought he'd fallen off there for a second.
30 seconds left.
He's managed to sneak his way around.
Boaster's above him.
Boaster right above him, but Verno slipping through his grasp. The smoke fading. He's looking the wrong way, though. It will be Boaster to take him down. His third kill of the round, and a MasterCard Thrifty gets Fnatic to 3.
I genuinely think they needed that. Something to just get them back in the match. Huge round for Boaster individually. We mentioned it last time they played this map. It was his attack side prowess that brought things home, and it was an 8-0 attack. So realistically, if they get enough on the defense, it might just work out for them.
Shit,
but
I
he
just
managed
ran
to.
around the whole site.
I was going to say he managed to work with the chaos. Help bring that one through. Here goes Kayak again. This time they're a little bit further ahead. He might be able to get one and just escape, and that's exactly what he does. Nice play.
Completely blindsided there. I mean, you're walking up with knife out. Clearly not expecting that level of aggression to come out, and this is again one of those factors of the Waylay and using it correctly. The early control, minimal risk with the ability to just dip on out of there. For almost anyone else standing in that position is a one and done. But no punish to the defensive side. Oh. Nice attempt.
Oh, rolling thunder.
Really?
Yeah, I guess clearly feeling like there was a lot more there. Cortezia has managed to get quite far, but you expect there'll be an immediate swing and good interplay. That was one of the criticisms even their own coach had from the last map, was they weren't playing together. That one was a lot better, and now the full force revealed. Should be a fairly easy kill from Alfia, and it will be. Well, Artsin needs another big play. It's not going to happen. Aspas needs an ace.
The 140 tag is cruel. 2 knives for Kayak, and it's one straight to the head of Alpha. Crashy's vulnerable to a single one, but there's so little time. Aspas will have to make maybe the play of the tournament if he makes this happen. It'll be tough to top 10 seconds.
Yeah, no
and already safety being played by Crashy's up in heaven. Kayak far away. They're just not going to give him the opportunities.
Yeah, realizing how low the clock is. Maybe wanting to take the extra gun out may actually make a difference. And he's just going to try and float his way down and survive. I like it. 6-4. Fnatic finding their footing, and you start to see that sort of interplay and synergy that we expect from this squad. An early fight from Kayak, but then it's the bait from Boaster to give Alfia that opportunity. 4 rounds may already be enough. We don't know how.
Go, come on. Let's go.
MIBR are going to play in that defensive side, but for that reason,
Seems like an adjustment being made by MIBR to a more direct approach. We saw this in the pistol round.
yeah.
Cortezia being...
Well, we saw Alpha get cooked.
Yeah, he got ripped to shreds. Cortezia was just playing super passive in mid. Managed to find himself a bunch. They'll go for the same thing here in the buy round. Shock up and over. Is that going to get... No, nothing. It's the right side.
I think that was for default. That's where they want to plant. So just making sure there isn't a kill trip on that side. Instead, it's on the other. It's kind of hard to deal with anybody there. It will slow them down, but getting a pick from this position is very difficult. So that post spawn's going to be in, and I'll be honest with you, Mitch, that is where this squad has been the scariest.
And ult as well to buy them more time. Fnatic, because it's such a direct hit, they have so much utility to work with, but they can't use it just yet. The spam from Verno working wonders, but Aspas has gone down. He's been a big player in these moments, but so is Cortezia. Bringing the numbers back into their favor. MIBR, they've even got Artsin on a pistol. He's the man on site trying to buy them some time, run that clock down, but Cortezia falls. The grab well having to be used early on, but the time ticking now, the pressure mounting for Fnatic as Shannon finds one that's free! In this world of chaos, Verno is the cam, not Odin!
Last round before
It finds so much value, and a 7th round, a guaranteed lead at halftime for MIBR already.
This man is very quickly becoming one of the hottest prospects in all of Americas. A 19-year-old in-game leader who's currently, I think, 12-5 versus Fnatic while using an Odin on the attack side. Find me another player with all of those characteristics. I can tell you now, they don't exist. The only man above him is, well, a man who is considered in the GOAT debate. And one of the people he's doing it to is the other.
1 round left to play for. The stage is set for the second half with this.
See ya.
And it's Aspas getting aggressive. He'll only find the one. Kayak's there to save the day, but damage was done to Alfier, the weaker weapon, thriving even on range, but the Odin comes back. The wall bangs again for Verno. But Kayak, his performance left us wanting more, so much more from him after that debut down there on the champ stage. It looks like he's delivered when it matters most. Fnatic 5 on the board.
Yeah, they really, really needed that one. Nonetheless, it is just going to be the 5. We'll see if there's a response to be had after the break.
It didn't feel like there was a contest. This felt incredibly one-sided,
Yeah.
and when we moved to the second half, it was even more so for MIBR. This is their chance to close it out. 2-0 in both their series. A statement start to their Champions run, to their first run of any kind at an international event, at a global event for this organization.
Enemy spotted. They've already caught the early aggression out from the side of MIBR, and I think as a singular smoke has deterred their initial push. That means there's going to be so many players here. Wonderful entry, though, from Kayak. A huge initial fight that took down the defender. The spams coming through. Kayak already with the second of the round, a third even, taking over individually. This is what Fnatic were missing, especially in that last map. But with 3 already in the pistol, a few low HP players, but MIBR, well, the M stands for miracle.
Now this would be something else entirely. As we said, Kayak in the previous round, or previous half, he had that massive 3K. Helped Fnatic to course correct, to close that distance. Now he's in a spot, seemingly to have done it again. His pistol will close the gap entirely, perhaps, put us to 7-7. Kayak's going out for more, building those orbs early on, even going down isn't that bad. He's halfway to having the ultimate already.
last player standing.
In the end, it will be pretty damn clean for Fnatic. A much-needed pistol round has been secured.
Yeah, well, we said it. The last time they played this map versus RRQ, it was an 8-0 attack half. So we are going to be looking at MIBR. Now, I'll say, you pick this map, you better be ready for that. But I'm pretty sure RRQ picked this map as well, so it doesn't always ring true. They've at least got to see what Fnatic have been doing, and I'm sure Brod has been cooking in the lab, maybe not with the comp, but at least with how they're going to deal with that. Aspas maybe considering taking some early space, but you just have to look at what's on the board. It's not even a sheriff, Mitch. It is literally nothing.
Yeah, that's why they're stacked up so heavily towards this A side. Putting all their eggs in one basket, throw the early knife, hope that Fnatic assume that because they haven't been caught by the knife, MIBR will have rotated, they'll be stacked up on the other side of the map, and then you go running into the stack on A. That's not a bad idea. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out. We can see that Fnatic, at least to start, are bringing this towards the B site. Crashy's even giving up that full control over A main. It's already locked in. They'll be waltzing in to a site that's, I mean, it's not even defended. Cortesia's miles away.
They'll claim an orb. I imagine unless... Yeah, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say go down to the spike, but I forgot that this is a thing. Incoming Lothar copy pasta on Twitter for the 8th time. And more importantly, for Fnatic, it is a flawless round. Even though they don't get all the orbs, the main thing is they keep all of the weapons. So you look at the purchase that's going to be coming up, it's similar to the last half. I think most teams are running it like this now because of that huge range advantage and the good chance that you're going to find a gap. Because of that, a bonus round, it's barely a bonus. The only difference is they have denied them having any form of ult, which with Kayak and Crashies both having a few orbs each, I actually think that's well worth it.
Yeah, bonus round with Boaster on the operator. That's something. Quite a big bonus.
A wise man once said, that's how daddy plays. So let's see what he's got in the locker.
I mean, it's the one player on low credits, right? Like, it's a huge buff that you get on that attack side. Being able to take these range fights, maybe catch a player out of position, find a free opening pick. Those spams doing quite a bit of damage. We'll send Crashies back. Fnatic do take the space in the end, and for MIBR, I think waiting for numbers is almost their only choice at this point. Can't go running through those smokes.
Yeah, surviving on the B side when there's a stun going through the left side and then a grab well at the back, there's not really a safe space. The only worry now, though, is can they break back in on the retake? Already a pop flash that doesn't quite catch, but it's going to be Artsin getting ready to potentially swing through this smoke. The spam trying to delay them. They are just being held back, and somehow Kayak is just dodging all the bullets. They can't expect anybody to be here, but they've been able to find the early trades. The stun was decent, but it doesn't matter, but now it's all onto Boaster. In that backline again with the operator, facing off against a man who is a master of that gun. But that time is ticking desperately low, and he does not flinch. It is Boaster in the post-spawn, and Fnatic in the lead.
Well, compared to the last map, he's on fire now, and that's going to be a much-needed confidence boost for Boaster. Great reactions from MIBR. You can see Aspis up top, taking the fights deep, and as the push comes around towards that spawn, towards the bridge, he's there to cover his teammates from above. A big player in that retake, but Boaster
Are we in an alternate universe?
How so?
Boaster just won a 1v2 clutch versus Aspas.
With an op.
Yeah, it feels like someone moved a chair a few million years ago and we've ended up here, but he's always been good with the operator, to be fair. Just shows it every once in a while, and the main thing was not falling for the bait, waiting for that time to be low enough that even if Aspas had let go, it was all irrelevant. And after a poor map one and a shaky start to this map, and now finally starting to see what we expect from Fnatic, the team that on this half of Abyss absolutely battered RRQ.
Yeah, and well, the attack half, I think Boaster was 13-1. He died a single time. Still time for that performance.
Yeah. He didn't use an op though, at least to my memory.
Don't think so, no. Certainly not in the bonus round.
Good
Deep
stack
dive
up.
from Kayak. I mean, he's been doing well with this stun. It's going to catch a few again, but he takes quite a bit of damage through that cage. It doesn't seem to matter. MIBR have such a heavy disadvantage in every fight they go for. As soon as those advantages are there for Fnatic, this becomes an unlosable round.
Yeah, even still, Fnatic are going to want to keep this one nice and clean, a chance to really build up some of those ultimates as well. Hunter's Fury already available, and Convergence Path, the way layout, just one away. That's why Kayak is on the hunt. He would like that ult for the next round. He's going to get it. I thought maybe he'd get it by dying, but no. It really has been a turnaround in the second half for him. He's now 14-10, which, considering I would say like 8 or 9 rounds in, I think he was 2-7.
Yep.
That's a really big resurgence from a critical player. Especially when you look at his role in this fight. If he's not taking that space,
One enemy remains.
they're cooked.
Well, the win
Let's
certainly
go!
picking up
Come on!
in favor of Fnatic. It's carried them into the lead, a 9-7 after a 7-5 half. Now the rifles come out from MIBR. Now the op is in the hands of Aspas, and this has to be where things change for the defensive side. America's number 4 chose to fight on this map. Mistake that RRQ evidently made.
Yeah.
Up against Fnatic.
The
They're
front
looking
said
to
they've
prove-
got this on the stage as well.
Yeah.
Don't worry, no one will clip that if you lose.
But it's hard not to feel confident after the schooling that they gave Fnatic in map number 1. It certainly feels like they've woken the beast.
Oh, immediate trade. The operator. Convergence path going to go through, but there's nobody in this position. And I'm wondering if we might just see Jenum step right back in. He does. That's such an important kill. It gives them the advantage. Puts them on the front foot. I'm looking at where Fnatic are going. They're looking to try and get a little bit more aggressive, but the drone's so impactful. Using it a little earlier. We saw them struggle with that on the attack half. Boaster goes swinging! All right, they're looking like a completely different team to map number 1, just taking the firefights. Okay, sure, it's still individualistic, bitch, but now it works.
Some explosive impact from the IGL of Boaster. That operator being picked up has made a hell of a difference, and for MIBR, not quite the difference they were looking for. Even the way the round starts out, Aspas looking for a pick on mid, he gets one, instant trade from Boaster.
Yeah.
Aspas who? Not Boaster's.
All right, okay.
Boaster's the op supreme now.
Good luck in your DMs later tonight. I'm going to tell you now, the rest of that sentence is not being translated. It's just those 2 words.
Oh, no. Well, double digits locked in.
Your life has just flashed before your eyes, haven't you? You realize what you've done.
Mistake's been made. The mistake has been made. Aspas has got me. We made content. It was a good time. We're having our laughs.
Yeah, this is you're wasting your time. None of this is being translated.
Yeah.
No one cares.
It's done. But yeah, double digits for Fnatic now. 3-round lead, and as we've seen from MIBR, once they see that pace picked up on the other side, they're going to call a timeout. This has been 5 in a row for the side of Fnatic now, though.
Wake up, hello! Let's go!
Alpha's having a good time.
That's a dangerous sign.
Yeah, he did die immediately in that round, but he's still there to step up.
Well, he enjoyed what he watched.
Attack, if you exclusively take their attack rounds.
I was going to say, where have you gotten that from? But yeah,
exclusively their attack rounds on this map.
Yeah.
See if that ends now that I've said it.
Probably. It is a weaker buy for MIBR on Aspas, but that's because he's got a Blade Storm. The rest of the squad armed to the teeth. But the op now on Shenum, thanks to, obviously, the Blade Storm being prioritized. You can't swap that with your teammate. But Fnatic seem to have a lot of preference towards this B site. They're finding the space for free as MIBR constantly set up for these retakes, but so far, they have not been working out in favor of that defense.
But they can't stand on that left side of the site because of the breach combination. Already, Hunter's Fury, it's such a tight corridor to try and make your way through. Alfia also in the backlines. It seems like they have a decent idea that there's a player here, but it may not matter. A little bit shaky and actually turning things back now into a 3 versus 3, but that post plant still sits and they haven't managed to deal with that player in the backline. Artsin doing his best. Alfia yet to truly swing, but Crashy's once again taking over, and Aspas, I think he got lost on the way.
Does appear to be the case. For Fnatic,
Planted.
hey, they'll take it.
He was trying to kill them from
all
off
the
the
way
side of the map.
around.
I understand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was trying to find an angle, and then when there's the one, but then he needs his teammates to...
Shoot!
Yeah, he needs his teammates to not die, otherwise that looks quite silly.
Yeah. Well, he got his one. He traded it out, and the main thing has been it's very difficult for them to fight towards that back of B site. So you having that extra angle to fight from, it got them a pick, a valuable one, but they couldn't capitalize on the space. MIBR,
exact same execute.
they're facing the same attack, and there's no real solution. You know, you get the grab wall there to try to pull them in for the pick on backside, but with that not being offered up, we're back to square one.
Yeah, they've repositioned these trips into a million different places, but if you don't have anybody on the left side of the site, you can't kill anyone off of them. We are into this same post bar. Now this time, Cosmic Divide, that's at least going to make things interesting, but look at the Fnatic players immediately running back through into the site, looking to join in, and there's that flank coming through once again. It may not even be needed. The players on the site doing good work, the wraparound from Artsim, but now he's all that remains, and he's completely surrounded. That tap will be heard and quickly cleared. Fnatic's B site execute is looking well, unstoppable. That's the only word I could use in this scenario. Maybe impeccable as well. That is another streak. Lamar, if they do win this out flawlessly, Mitch, I've just realized how many rounds in a row they would win on that attack side. It's exactly the same as versus RRQ.
History has a way of repeating itself.
It's not normally that soon.
Yeah, back to back. That's a hell of a feat. The Fnatic looking to have corrected every mistake from the previous map. They're playing together, this team, this unit, looking much sharper.
Like, you're not doing this again.
How about they have to do something? The retakes haven't worked, and now it's time to fight for this ground. Fnatic putting a rolling thunder through. There's some utility to cover the fallback, and Aspis makes it out, but they've lost Shenum. The cross on mid, caught, and Alpha's out of there for free with the cages. And look at the spike. It hasn't gone through the choke point. Fnatic haven't overcommitted. They haven't taken the same space as before, and now the A site's open for the rotate.
When they don't even necessarily have to commit to that. You can see the rotation from MIBR, and of course they're going to rotate. You've lost 2 players in middle. You've got to expect that players are making their move, but I'm looking at the position of Boaster and starting to question, is this a lurk, or is this them going to wrap back through mid? Because this is what Althea has been doing the entirety of the match so far. They know they can get into this position. The only man standing in their way is Verno.
It's going to be a single clear. Alpha on his own, but he doesn't get dropped. Verno was expecting the swing. The PC utility being taken out. Caught him off guard.
30 seconds
No
left.
punish. That means MIBR sit with the disadvantage now. A storm brewing. Not in front of, but all around. Oh, Cortesia. He's stuck in this corner. He can't get out without a big fight. Finds his first. Kron is low, and he'll fall as well.
Spike.
12 seconds. Spike down. They need to deal with Cortesia, and they will. 7 seconds. Spike makes it to site, and a plant will be secured. Fnatic can still end it here. Aspis, the last man standing, the final hope of MIBR on this map, but the flawless streak continues for Fnatic. A dominant.
A bit more corrode, but decided to ban it out, so I want to see what they've got. They must have known that they'd be coming here very likely after how good MIBR played versus BLG, so the worry will be if they can deal with the problems the BLG did versus this attack side of MIBR, because it was a 10-2 half when they played in their opener.
Yeah, pick your poison really between Corrode and Haven. Aspis had a phenomenal Corrode up against BLG, but Haven looked so good. He said 13-2. The scoreline that ended up closing out in favor of MIBR. It was an attack side from Verno where he was 15-2, closing it out. The man barely died, but he drew his fair share of blood and then some. Keep an eye out for him, but Kayak, we talked about this on the desk, the defense, the duelist can sometimes be a bit of a weakness. You can see Kayak drop off. Well, he started out with flying colors, as have Fnatic. A 5 versus 3, and MIBR trying to make up the distance with a deep push, but it's messy.
He got there in the end, and he's got support coming in from behind as well. Maybe didn't even need it. It's the wall bang for Kayak. And I do wonder if the compositional changes to allow him to be that little bit more aggressive. Like, sure, with Neon, I think you can run in with sort of set play utility or little bits of additional things, but I feel like this allows him to be a little bit more on an island. Like, he can push up and quickly get out of there and rotate over to the other side of the map. I also think, looking back at the last map, obviously there are a lot of talking points, but for me it's Althea. I think when this team, even when, like, before they played the double duelist, before they played that and he was on this Killjoy, when he was on form on this map, that was when they looked their scariest. And he had a fantastic map too.
Classics across the board for MIBR.
They've done this a lot.
There's no real need to invest further in their mind.
Okay.
They can make it happen with the weak weapons. Shenum's the first and it's Kayak that gets taken down. The upgrade is only to a Marshall. It's not going to help them out a ton, but it could weaken some players, make
Only
it a bit
a
easier for
Marshall
the Classics.
in us versus Ham.
Hardly a threat, is it?
No, not when there's one in Boaster's hands. What could you
Sorry?
be worried about?
You're saying?
Already starting to get a little bit scary, but there's Crashies.
Enemy
A
remaining.
wonderful triple spray down. It's still going to be a very costly round, but the rifles will be kept through at least. Quite a bit of damage considering it was only the Classics that they started with. But now this is where we expect things to change a little as the buyback, actually at least looking right now, the buyback from Fnatic is actually quite hefty.
Nice! Come on! Nice, Martin! That's my brashies right there!
It was mostly Crashies, not so much the Brashies that time, but we'll give it to you anyways.
Move.
For MIBR, yeah, they're going to get a full investment, credits on the line. But the bonus on Fnatic looking very beefy. As you said, they invested a little bit more. Boaster and Alpha pretty low on credits. But it gives them pretty much equal footing, with the exception of the Stinger on Crashies.
Oh, that's the thing though, Verno has one as well. This is almost bang even, but it is like a full investment into the round. Like, this is a gamble from Fnatic, but maybe it's that surprise element. Okay, you did so much damage, you're expecting pistols, you're expecting weaknesses. Maybe you see the first rifle, you run into another position. And I'm looking where that Stinger has already got to. It's super aggro. Artsin going through this is a pretty serious gamble if he gets caught. But he will just duck out of there. Now, Boaster, is he going to get caught with you till it has? Yes, he is.
They certainly gave them no shortage of opportunities. Swapping between the rifle and the util to smoke that gets him in the end. The response from Fnatic, a double push through doors, but it's being watched. Flank covered by Artsin. He'll be caught
that's
in the
not bad.
window. Zhenim needs to get out of there. Makes it to the corner at least. They know now there's heavy numbers coming from mid. 2 players spotted. Paranoia will be used.
Cover going out.
Even a smoke down there as well. The challenge on the site has to come from Kayak. He's the only player coming from that angle. And Alpha takes a risk walking through the smoke, but it's worked out. Big advantage for Fnatic. Taken down to equal footing, but Verno on 4 HP is being pushed back, the time ticking, and they still have to deal with Aspas in the corner. They've done so flawlessly. It's looking dangerous. Verno had a chance there, but he's fallen all the way back as time has ticked rather all the way to the end. A Red Bull clutch coming in, and the patience there, a margin of 4 HP that gets the round for MIBR.
Yeah, I think as well, just that late round realization from Verno that the clock was gone. Didn't need to stay and fight, didn't need to do anything other than staying alive. And if this was a bonus round, we'd be talking about it as like, okay, that's incredibly costly for the side of MIBR. But as said, that was a fairly heavy investment coming out from Fnatic. It's going to leave them in an interesting spot, but I am looking at the Outlaw. There are 3 players, 1 shot to that gun. Kayak could be a problem.
Positions on short, the drone will be denied by that Viper wall. Won't get any information, but as long as it's not a creep up on long, they're happy enough to give up A control because you'll be walking right into that Outlaw. For MIBR, space is taken elsewhere. And really, it's this deep position from Alpha here that could be a pretty massive problem. They've got the turret down. This turret's covering the walk up in Garage as well as the alarm bot, so it's not even about taking out one piece of utility. You'll also have to deal with that turret or smoke it off if you want to take the space for free.
A little bit of extra information, but doing anything more than that's going to be difficult. The battle of Alpha and Zhenim could be in Tegra. I think that was actually a dink that was just connected through the wall, so already getting tickled a little bit. And the patience of Alpha are going to be everything. The spot is being checked though. Zhenim very careful. Time starting to tick. Chronicle wants to try and make a play, and he may have just made the play of the round. A quick double. Boaster now gets another, and 20 seconds left on the clock. I think MIBR might just have to make the decision to retreat here. That aggressive peek through from Chronicle has just ended the round in its tracks.
Especially after they saw Alpha here on long and no contest on the utility being broken other than a spam from the defender side of Garage. You don't expect someone to be that deep on the site. And even if they are, you don't expect them to just go walking through that smoke. It's a huge gamble. But it pays off massively for Chronicle.
Just the way that he put down that Viper screen. Like, it was basically just to give them that back sight almost for free. Like, placing it so that, okay, it gives you the cross onto the door as well in Garage so that you can constantly try and make things awkward for them.
This Volg, bro.
But then he uses that wall to actually get himself a little bit of extra space.
Kron almost as surprised as MIBR were there to see him. A 3-1 start. Strong display from Fnatic. MIBR put their credits on the line. 3 rifles bought, but they're left with 2 pistols. It doesn't seem to matter. They've almost overrun this C site.
Look at the damage, though.
And the stun is perfect. Kayak, he's completely stuck in place, but he caught Aspas anyways. And Boaster's there to help out. The retake on the site before the spike even made it. And even the flank from Crashy's insult to injury. MIBR, they've been flattened.
Yeah, I think it was a TP as well from Jenem. I bet he wish he had that online right now. He's not going to be able to retrieve the spike, but I think it was the initial damage, maybe by Althea, that was done. So even though that stun was perfect onto Kayak, he needed to land a single bullet. And now, well, Jenem's just going to peek into an off-angle Crashies. Fnatic on that defensive side have got off to a flying start, which, considering at times that was their real detriment. Versus BBL back regionally. 1-9 on the defense. Versus Heretics, they had a similar fate, 1-10 on the defense. It was always their attack sides that looked strong. And I'm not surprised that after the last time they played, MIBR getting a 10-2 half needed. Out from Fraud, it was mentioned on the desk by Doug that the man needs a raise. I'll be honest, after map 1, I could definitely understand it. They looked impressive, but nothing has been guaranteed so far in this tournament, and just because they've looked so good, it doesn't mean that if they fall to the lowers, that they will get out.
Huge shock dart damage early on. But it's really Aspas we're looking at. The ult popped, the only saving grace of this round. He has to do so much with it, even walking through the snake fight, and he'll find himself 2, weakens up Crashies, but Kayak! Each barrel as deadly as the next. He set them up for success. And Althier's hammered it home.
Ah, you can't do an Eldar. You gotta save that one for when Benji's on the other side of the stage. You can't be doing that now. Oh, God. What a round. Such a great start from Aspas to be able to get them into position, but in the past on this map, they ran the double duelist of... I wouldn't want to high-five him after that.
Yeah, I'd back out of that interaction.
But the fact is, it is, well, the players who played the double duelist, Kayak and Althea, that saved them from what could have been an immediate return after the pause. That would have certainly got the win back in the sails of MIBR. Instead, it's a decent round, but not a win.
This is the round that most hope sat with. Rifles for MIBR, immediate responses. They look to take the site control. The paranoia was sent through. Now from the attack side, the same. Around the left side, they look to fight as Alpha, dodging the paranoia that had been sent in, took his space. Crashies lands on the Cortesia and looks for more. He's finding 2. MIBR, half the numbers of their opponent at 2 versus 4 and nothing to show for it.
This is the Althea that's scariest. I remember rounds where he used to just jump out of the window in Garage, spray down 3. Like, he's in that sort of gamble mode. I'm willing to fight anyone at any moment, in any place, at any time. He walked in when they didn't even know how much of the site they'd already lost. Now sits alone on the A site. That's one of the few gaps. As if they can clear this man, they have a chance. But with the alarm bot down, he's buying time. An immediate rotation. Verno's done well. This now definitely makes things that little bit more interesting, but the HP, it's going to be a little bit lower, a missed shot, and a chance for Artson to take that extra space.
But now they've got it. Oh! Cross onto the side, and it's looking easy. Artson, all 3 for him! He has just pulled out a big play right when they needed it. All the credits on the line, a full investment, and a streak from Fnatic. It was building up some serious heat, but they have snuffed out those sparks of hope.
Again, just perfect decision-making on the target that he chose. Isolated 1v1s and won every single one of them. Spoke about the confidence of Fnatic, but it might have just taken a beating. A 2 versus 4 that has gone the way of MIBR. Of course, the economy of Fnatic is nowhere near as damaged as that of the other side. Kayak now with the operator in hand. He might just get the first for free, but Verno is not going to give him the angle.
It seems there's no shortage of players who can rewrite the script in these rounds. MIBR need to build on the confidence that they've just found in that previous round. Even coming into this with weaknesses, full ultimates for Fnatic. Full rifles as well.
Alpha's playing contact off his turret over on short. They'll likely be losing the space on the site itself, but again, time is being bought. Hunter's Fury being used. A little bit out of distance will be Aspas, so it's not going to have the play, but that contact is still there from Alpha. He goes swinging a little bit early though, wary that he might be losing the site and wants to try and join up with his team.
Well, they're going to double up on that short fight, but the wraparound from MIBR sends Aspas straight into the mixer. Alpha falling with just one, and Kayak, he'll try to escape, but he can't quite activate the ult in time. In fact, he activated it just in time to lose it. Cortezia seals the deal for MIBR, 3-5 now. This was looking like a damning start from them, but they found what they needed in that pause.
I think they've just been patient, and then the follow-up of Artsin every time. Like Aspas is taking the space, getting them the openers, but he's the man that's dancing within all of that chaos. And coming out with a 3K in back-to-back rounds. It took some time, it took a pause, and a couple in a row, but MIBR are most certainly back in this map.
Go, go, go.
Oh yeah, they've built up enough steam now. They've done enough damage that Fnatic, they don't have a lot to invest. Weaknesses, but that won't stop them from pushing. Look at this, A-long, C-long, both taken deep by Fnatic, playing that early info game. The gate crash soon to fade away. It's going to be a rotate far from the A side as well. If Kayak takes it, he's out of the action, and it's now faded. No fallback anymore. Kayak is stuck with the ground he's taken. He's alone as well. No one else anywhere near long. Tucking in, hoping he isn't cleared. He's going to be spotted. How much more can he get? Just the one. But crashes from afar makes it costly.
This round, they may have lost the rifle, but with a man advantage and still crashes in the off angle. He's landing a second shot already. Individually hoping to drag the team through, but they're also being locked in from behind. A wraparound. Cortezia in a bit of trouble, but does well. Manages to isolate a fight, but he's seeing it now. He realizes Crashies is trying to bait him into the duel. Althea still on that flank, but can't beat King because the turret's waiting. Still manages to land the shot and looks for a little more. It is Althea and Crashies that deliver the MasterCard Thrifty. And well, it seems like that comeback was short-lived.
You look back at Abyss as well, we had a few moments like this where it seems like MIBR did the hard work, but they stumble on the easy task for what should be. This was their chance to pull it back to just a one-round difference.
30 seconds left.
To keep this close to even at half in the worst-case scenario, but now Fnatic right back into things with a MasterCard Thrifty. We've talked about the ultimates. There's still a lot online, and this round will start with the Viper's Pit securing this C-side. Look how much ground that covers as well. C-Long and Garage walkout covered. The turret watching for the walk into Garage. The alarm bot covering C-Long. I mean, they can stack heavy towards A in this late round.
Yeah, of course. The worry is if this short control is lost, the likelihood is so will the A site. Lockdown available
You should run.
for Cortezia. Immediately thrown into play. Counter will be put through, but then Hunter's Fury used as the trap card to that. It means that there needs to be a retreat into the corner. And while Artsin already chasing Crashies, though he found a gap. That gap was enough. to give them 2, and the retreat back from Kayak means that the man advantage sits with Fnatic.
But the pit, that's where things can change, but it's the Viper fighting up close. Artson needs to win this fight, and he will. Shenham elsewhere, lands one towards heaven.
One enemy remaining.
And now it's falling apart for Fnatic. Chronicle, he wants to save this weapon, but they don't want him to. Still, you can't push much further into this, or you give him a chance of actually winning the round. So that operator carried forward, or should be. Chronicle has the choice to just run away, but he wants to make it more costly if they'll offer up the duels. Fair enough. A back and forth couple of rounds, though. MIBR showing that no matter what they come into the round with, they've always got the potential to fight back.
Yeah, I think this was one that they desperately needed. Firstly, just because there was a chance for the scoreline to slip away, but also you can't use 3 of the most high-impact ults in the game and not win the round. The lockdown was there to get in. The Hunter's Fury was there to deny the opponents. And then the Viper's Pit was there to make it impossible. The fun fact, though, is that Shenham did end up doing a lot of the work, like catching out the players outside of the pit. That was going to be the bigger problem with the gap that was left, but he did fantastically well. Now moves up to the top of the board for his team. Even still, though, Fnatic do have a purchase, and I think the loss here for either side will put their economy in the dust.
This could be the round that decides the score at the halftime. Still potential for a big lead from Fnatic. And now MIBR have to make this push happen with limited ultimates. Shenham can still go up into heaven. That's exactly what he's going to do. Taking that control deep. Avoids it once the reveal comes through. And so they lose that little bit of space, that little dagger in the back, as it should have been.
Crashies have been playing so smart so far. And his aim has been there alongside. Already spotting 2 pushing up. He is going to get caught, but falls back. Doesn't want to overface. The worry is if Kayak's going to get out of here in time. Already, though, Crashies is back in. Swinging off the back of the utility. Aspas trying to hold on, but the rest of the team is still choked out, looking to make it in. They need to try and win this fight, and even the Classic has found a dink. Almost makes it too easy in the end. An immediate response out of the side of Fnatic, and as said, Mitch, that round was so important for how this half is going to be delivered.
Well, this was just great stall as well, coming in from Chronicle. He throws in a snake bite alongside the poison orb on A-Long, and that leaves Aspas isolated for so long. It lets them deal with the rest of the squad, turn their attention to Aspas in full focus.
5A, boys. Be reading them.
Good, like 3 players fighting him there.
You're more older than them BIGL, bro. Come on.
Hey, he's been doing a pretty good job.
Well, a lot more needed for MIBR. And look at the weaknesses here. As we said, that round carried so much weight for Fnatic. Artson, oh, he's caught.
Spike down mid.
Well, he managed to catch Kayak off. He managed to dodge the shot, but he won't take the kill. Kayak hitting the full gate crash out of there while they're being picked apart towards B in the window, towards Garage as well. MIBR getting nothing for their trouble, as it seems like Fnatic have found their 2nd win.
This is looking like a very rough position to fight back from. Cortesia 2 and 10. He's been having a tough game. He'd need to put that number up significantly. And he's got Hunter's Fury literally hunting him down. The half will end 8-4, and Fnatic go in with a substantial lead.
That's a pretty flawless act from Fnatic. A 4-round lead at the halftime. A big resurgence from this squad, looking completely different than the team we saw on Bind. Now all that's left to do is close this out after the break.
1 enemy remaining.
Target acquired.
And they have fought you right back to yours. Now it's MIBR who have to make the bounce back. And it starts with this pistol round.
It seems like a mid-walk is the play. That turret already giving the game away, though. Even the expectation of, okay, it technically shot at the 2nd player, it doesn't matter, because if you're the Fnatic players, you're going to start spamming that wall. Already gone, but Aspas is going to try and stick around. Now, he can't go any further because the alarm bot is waiting. Is Alpha going to ego peek him? Is that the swing, or are they going to try and wrap round behind? Just look at the players in mid. They now know he's here. There really isn't an escape. There's no way back. He almost managed to take one with him, but
Careful.
Fnatic have dealt with the danger. Now 4 stand in their way.
A slow attack side, a staple of this team. Their downfall when it came to bind. But it's already paid off here in the pistol. And this will be a nail in MIBR's coffin. Not the final one, but one that will certainly hurt. 9-4, potential 10-4 scoreline and a massive comeback. They still have hope of taking this pistol. The stack up towards the A
30
site.
seconds left.
Although Spike is not going with these players, this looks to be a ruse on A.
You don't normally see fakes when you already have a man advantage. They're trying to pull all that utility, and to be honest, that's exactly what they've done. They've already got rid of the paranoia that was sent in to try and deny this late play. Art's in. Oh, it needs to be more. It's a little bit whiffy. He'll at least get his one, but the fact is, when you're already a man down and a post plant, and just look at some of the positions that are there for Fnatic, Boaster, he might even just be setting up a paranoia from behind. I think he's going to do it potentially through the wall. That's exactly the case. Just leave them blind, but there's nobody currently on the spike. A one-way also in play, and now he looks to wrap around. They knew he was coming. The paranoia gave it away, but it doesn't seem to matter. This man has been impeccable on the attack sides, and Cortesia, that's not even enough time.
No, he's already gone. Denying orbs, maybe the best that he can do, finding one for himself, but that spike will confirm the round for Fnatic. 9 on the board, another pistol, and this injection of rounds, what makes an already steep climb into an almost impossible ascent.
Oh, we didn't need that slow mode. We didn't need that.
Enemy
I
remaining.
love this flank. I love the paranoia coming through from the back as well. So much more difficult
You know
to
what
avoid.
happened? I'm shooting. I have zero shots. Bro.
I like the bro. 9-4. Again, it's only classics. Fnatic at this point should know that there's not really been much investment into these rounds from MIBR, so all you need to really do is find out where the stack is. Which, at times, is easier said than done, but on a 3-site map, plenty of opportunities.
Well, the rhythm building here on the attack side. Should be an easy conversion, as again we see MIBR go for this 0 investment.
Not this time.
Full classic round. Even the risks being taken here. It's the one player from Fnatic with a pistol who'll go walkabouts, and yeah, they take him down, but only a sheriff to be retrieved. Let's see if that comes back to haunt them.
It's going to be the group up of Kayak. Now, I like the rotation that's already come in. Cortesia on C. Drone going to be sent in towards Garage, but the probing is looking like a B site hit once again, doubling down on what they did in the pistol. And normally this is the site that has a bit more ease in terms of the retakes, but when you don't have any guns, that becomes incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I think it's an easy choice to play down towards mid. The only thing to be cautious of is Shannon putting down a smoke, making it hard to deny that defuse. So you're going to see kind of sticking around. Gate crash enables him to get out quick, and Shannon's the one to fall. The smoke on the right side, just blocking off one of the angles, making it much more difficult for Aspas, and with nothing to obscure vision. That defuse should be impossible.
Out of charges.
And in fact, with how slow MIBR are playing, I wouldn't be surprised if, again, their game plan is just deny these orbs. Kayak's already in a position where, with that death, he's 2 away from the dimensional drift. A very valuable ultimate to have online. The rest will just go down to the spike.
Yeah, and I want to give credit where it's due as well. I think since that second half of Abyss, Kayak has come alive. Like, I think he was definitely missing in the first series. First map as well, I was definitely worried, but now sits atop the board alongside Crashies. And this is the terrifying prospect when you play against Fnatic. If every single player is online, you are done. Like, they have so much experience, so much talent. And for MIBR, 6 rounds behind, both pistols lost. Only 2 in a row currently brought together at a time. And they need a serious streak of rounds to show us that they are still in this match.
Well, this is it. It's becoming more and more difficult for MIBR, but this has to be the final stoppage point for the defensive side. Their last stand of sorts, a full investment. Fnatic looking at 11 and possibly 12 rounds on the back of a win here, and Kayak will be isolated on A. While there's presence shown towards Garage, right? So this is clear to MIBR. They're facing a slow default. You're also facing Fnatic, so you expect that. So there's no need for over-rotations with that man advantage.
Play, of course, there's still a buy in the next round for Fnatic. Artzin needs to at least get one here, and he will. Looking for a little bit more. The spam doesn't work out, but he has support, and Alfia desperately low on HP, hoping for a miracle spray of his own. It leaves Chronicle left, but he's on the other side of the map. Maybe just hoping to sell some sort of ruse, hoping for the backstab probably later into the round, but wow. He might get a backstab, but I don't think he's going to be winning this one. And even the backstab seems unlikely. Look at Verno's position. He is well aware of the ground that could have been lost.
Yeah, holding on to the weapon here, I think, holds the most
10
value
seconds left
for Chronicle. Still be capable of a full buy in the next. Not out of danger just yet, but that is a great step towards success for MIBR. 10-5, now half the rounds that their opponents have put on the board. They need to keep this up with rifles in hand. And this one, again, what we've seen, especially looking at Bind, is how good MIBR have been against that slow play from Fnatic, against those defaults on Fnatic's attack side. You start to wonder if we could be seeing a quick round from
Nice, boys. Nice. Let's go. Let's
on the
go back
attacking
to
side
Shiver.
coming into this next one. That might be the solution.
Well, I think as well, the way they play Bind, it felt like a lot of it was very reliant on their executes, maybe waiting to see if there was aggression from the double duelist. I don't think that's the case on this map. They know they need to pressure a little bit more, and especially with the Viper in play, they can shroud a lot of that. Artzin, though, okay. This C-site long control has worked out wonderfully. Maybe hoping to get the orb onto Kayak, have that dimensional drift. Verno is even going to spot two more players, and then for Fnatic, it almost comes down to, okay, we can't just rush into this A-site anymore, even with our players going down on the other side of the map.
Yeah, which is a shame as well, because for MIBR, this round was 1A, 1B, and 3 players on C long. Like, that firing squad completely overwhelmed the, again, slow approach they were going for. Methodically clearing out this map did not work for Fnatic. But they'll go back towards C, and now the rotations have already come in. 2-2, and not even a 1 towards C, as it's a very passive one. Cortezia. But they're not hitting there. I mean, they have no information to work with. A save might even be the best play in the 3v5 just because of where their economy is.
Wait, I don't mind the way MIBR are setting up either. It's just like that C site has always been one of the easier to retake. Obviously, the long post plant used to be the aim of the game, but that's not really going to work out for them. And for MIBR, having a clean round, it basically, especially with the way that the game is going, how far behind they are and the likelihood of consistent buys, having one before your reset is so important. So them just keeping everybody standing, not going to risk any of those ults. And sure, you can see the players starting to have a little bit of a peek, have a look around, see if they can find any of these remaining players. They will not be able to. A couple in a row for MIBR. Still one hell of a road left to walk on. But the fact is, Fnatic are now going to go back in. And the likelihood as well, yeah, I was going to say, Kayak's just going to buy up with an SMG, probably have a shorty in his back pocket, and then try and make a play with that ult.
That's the other thing, right? You have those 3 weapons. You want to save them because one other player can buy, and you've got a dimensional drift on Kayak who's dead. But if he's alive at start of round, that weaker weapon doesn't matter whatsoever. Even the Stinger can be so useful coming out of the dimensional drift. Early aggression from MIBR. 3 players on C last round. Now it's a 3-man push-up onto A-Long, and the steps being baited by Aspis. He's playing further back, breaking the drone, and they've already spotted 1 more player. The 3rd shouldn't be expected, and it is Verno. Luckily, he wasn't hit by the vulnerable.
Oh, they are fighting this tooth
through. It's
nail.
a big fight
Yeah, aggressive push up from Aspas to try and help out, and he's managed to keep things even, at least for now. The rotation from the remaining players coming through that B site. 2 still standing for either side. Artson from above. Crashies is watching for this, but he will eventually have to plant the spike. Even still, though, he's the one to take damage. And Cortezi has made it through. I don't know if the barrel was actually spotted. It was. And the Snakebite has bought a little bit of extra time, but Boaster is there. Another high-impact round from him on this attack side. And now Fnatic just 2 away from claiming victory and making it into the top 8.
It was a great play from MIBR. I love the idea to go so aggressive on A long. They haven't tried that with those kind of numbers before. But Fnatic are so vigilant in clearing those corners and taking every single fight as if the stack was there. A wonderful read. And it's gotten them up to 11.
The Brashies is back.
But here we see the value now for MIBR of having that clean round previously, of having that flawless. They can still invest, and they need to. A loss here, and the map is likely gone. The series with it.
Oh! That was Aspas buying up an operator. That was meant to be the decisive factor of this round, him claiming A control. That's why you see them with a lot of personnel elsewhere, and Kayak has just walked in and domed him in the first seconds of the round. That's such a huge pick to start things off.
It's Fnatic that can afford to take those risks. Being 11-6 up, a little bit of bravado, a little bit of confidence on display. Verno, the man who was 15-2 on the attack side when MIBR played it. He is certainly struggling here. The whole team is, it looked like a style mismatch when it came to Bind, but Fnatic looking like the far stronger team in these last 2.
Yeah, we've seen the individuals step up, and one of them has been Kayak. That second half of Abyss has lit a fire beneath the rookie. Feels weird calling him a rookie at this point. But the fact is, 2 kills already, dominating that A-long control, and Alfier is just waiting. That's it, he's just patient. Finally makes his move, but has escaped the corner without Genom even realizing that time starting to tick down, and actually Artson has caught out Chronicle. And with 20 seconds left on the clock, Genom's position could be a nightmare for Fnatic. If he manages to win this fight, he might just be able to drop the spike. Already knows the players are looking to try and make the move. He's caught one. Still sat in the corner. That time's starting to tick away. They need to get in here, and the time surely is gone! MIBR, from the depths of defeat, have somehow stepped up.
Another important round for this squad. Their credits were on the line, and they lose opening picks towards that A site, but oh man, what an opening from Kayak. The fact that they don't fully rotate to the A, the fact that they stick around on B, the fact that you even had this bait coming from Cortezia behind. He was the one spamming down towards mid. It really, especially with the space on the A site, you'll never assume that there's a second player on B tucked in the corner, but good note-taking from MIBR that Fnatic have been favoring that B-site plant in late rounds when they don't have control.
But that's the thing, it's like, it's always the saying of like, one team playing checkers and the other playing chess. But I feel like in this case, the checkers team won. It was just stick to what you were doing. And Fnatic, I felt like they overthought it. It's easy to say from our perspective, but when you get those 2 openers, it felt like the round was already over.
Alpha's feeling it today.
He's been chased down, but look at what it's done. From potentially 12-6, and maybe the economy even broken on the other side, especially after they bought an operator in the last round, to 11-7, only pistols available, and a chance to, well, close that gap even further for MIBR. They now have a chance.
See if Fnatic can take advantage of the crescendo of chaos with pistols flooding the site. It's a bloodbath to start, and none of it drawn in favor of Fnatic. Boaster and Alpha left alone, clinging on for dear life is the IGL on short. 25 HP, and it feels like that shorty will be what takes him down. 12 seconds, and even if he finds one, the impact negligible. He goes for the knife kill, but the blade meets 2 barrels. 11-8 with a flawless round. MIBR buying themselves a safety net.
That one was important. Same as the last. keep things nice and clean, get some of that confidence back. A big victory from a huge deficit. And now the 4 of the last.
Painful reminder of just how it felt.
Go, go, go.
They are still in the lead, but it does feel like those last couple could have been a momentum shift. Aspas has been mostly shut down. The last time he had an operator, he lasted about 5 seconds in the round before his head was ripped off. This time he's looking to stick to that aggressive position, but he's been caught. Tagged low, and Kayak looking to lead the charge, but they fall back, and Genom is waiting.
Well, the spark's being lit for MIBR, and they are fanning it into a flame. A veritable inferno for the defense.
There.
An opening found, but Aspas tagged low. Fnatic losing Alfier is a lot of control lost. They have to stick around these mid positions. They have to be worried about a C flank. But it looks like, again, favoring the B site. They will be shifting their way up, but in a 4v5, they still have Kayak and Chronicle playing on the extremities. It's going to leave them weak if they do decide to push this B site.
The bait. The fake TP into the B side didn't bait the rotation, maybe in the way they expected. Viper's Pit instead goes down over on the A side. It shuts down where they can rotate. Bear in mind, Aspas is still holding on to that cross, but he will be smoked off. Stun available, and again, it's starting to get into those late round positions. Bear in mind, there is a Hunter's Fury available. Now maybe in the C site it's not going to work. I don't know. 12 seconds if they are going to go for it. It has to be now, and they're running into the site. Hunter's Fury is coming through behind them. They're taking damage on the way in, and yeah, already another being caught. The round is just over. Sometimes you feel like it's Fnatic versus MIBR. Other times you feel like it's Fnatic versus the clock.
That's after a timeout, Tom. I mean, you see them in garage. You've not baited any utility on C. You know that the Killjoy's holding there. You know they've got a Hunter's Fury. Your economy's in the bin. Why would you push that? That's absolute madness. I know this team's comfortable playing against the clock, but hell, throw your weapons off the map and run up mid backwards at that point. That is madness at this stage of the game, this late. And they've just given MIBR the 3rd round in a row. First time we've seen more than 2 chained together for MIBR, and they should be getting another. As now Fnatic are on a light buy. This is a disaster of their own making.
We've seen it throughout the series that at times Fnatic's biggest enemy is themselves, or time. You can look at it either way. But as I said, give that little bit over, and MIBR begin to believe they can turn this back. In fact, I think they're fully in at this point. The timing of the Hunter's Fury from Verno was sublime. I was worried he'd be too far away, but because they got caught in that garage choke, he had them dead to rights. A rifle dropped over to Kayak. And a chance for him to be the hero he's been in so many rounds for this squad. They're still walking into a fairly stacked up site, and this is the amount of times that a player has been caught by that peak. And while Genom's actually just going to go back in for more, he's going back in for everything!
Obviously there's weaknesses here for Fnatic in terms of the weapons. They only had the 1 rifle, but I don't care what's in their hands. It's the manner of how they're playing these rounds. They look lost in that previous. And the same here, Boaster's setting up utility, there's no one even close by. Genom's in with a 4K, and these have been big momentum builders for MIBR. They are chaining these rounds together, and a big problem with Bind is it seemed like Fnatic, they couldn't come up with solutions, they completely stalled out. And if I just look at the last 2 rounds, it looks like that's happening again. I mean, how last round was a rookie quarterback's dream, a step-by-step on how to throw.
Let's go, boys!
11-10. They're still in the lead. Come in with a lot of ultimates getting either close or already online. Aspas' operator back in play once again, and early control already gathered up towards the A side. That's probably where they would have hoped. On MIBR side, that Aspas would be. Instead, he's taking full seat control. They're going to start boxing them in. Look at the rotation already happening from this defensive side. They've gambled a player over and again. This top box has been top shelf for the side of MIBR. That's another opener from that position.
This is it, man. This is money invested for Fnatic. MIBR might be pushing up to 12 if they lose this.
Poison's off.
1 minute on the clock. So don't expect a push for the next 40 seconds or so, but it looks like they will get ahead of it. Reveal's going through. Ready to break into this side, but Hunter's Fury's going to have to land. Have to find its mark. It's one man, but there's so many more on the site itself. Oh, nice work from Kayak. Nice work from Chronicle. Fnatic back on the horse at last. That shock dart could be deadly. Chron just about dodges it.
And now they have some pretty high impact potential ults to use. Dimensional Drift if they want the info, but I think they might just gamble the pit. It's definitely being considered. The blockade of Kayak put into play, and in the meantime, Alpha's dropped another. It seemed like they might be on their last legs, but instead, Fnatic fight back in force. Cortesia with no chance of turning this round. Well, Alpha will go looking. Maybe just hoping, I think it was, to get that ultimate online. The rest of the players are going to sit back and wait. And that will be Kayak with his third. A brilliant round from him individually, even if at times Fnatic may have fumbled. This guy has been solid.
Yeah, closing out the 4 versus 5. It really seemed like Fnatic had gone silent in these last couple of rounds. Barely a sign of life, but every note fell into place here. Having the pit online to further lock it down when players were tagged so low. Couldn't agree with Boaster more.
Nice Chron as well.
That was a huge...
Versus a team that finished second. It should be a caliber diff, but it definitely hasn't been.
No, not even close. A 2-round gap for MIBR. Ground to be made up. They're coming off the back of a big streak. Interrupted by Fnatic here. Right as they were about to probably claim the lead. As we said, still able to get that full investment.
Well, drone has been deleted. Fnatic right back to this slow pace, and Aspas, I feel like he's cursed. He's on the wrong side of the map every single time. Dimensional Drift being used. Bear in mind, there's also a lockdown on either side. The attack one goes in first, but is there going to be an immediate response? There is.
That's spammed. A lot of damage. Alpha's lucky to still be alive. TP used in the backside. It spotted Artson. He's running for his life, but he'll be caught, and that is not a good look. Blood in the water immediately as Artson falls.
Deploying drone.
A little bit more needed for Fnatic to close this one out. The dive in from Shenum presents a danger, and Kayak's the one to eat the bullet on the other side. Trades back and forth. The Sharks are circling here for Fnatic. Hungry for that final kill. One last strike, and playoffs is theirs. The series along with it. This started out terribly. They had to climb their way back in. And the slide in from Aspas may undo all their hard work. Chronicle in a 1 versus 1. A single shot to lock in playoffs. And he will strike the final blow. 2-1. Fnatic win it with